Do you struggle with how to explain separation and divorce to your children and trying to get them ready to spend time at the other parent's residence, especially when your child has special needs? This was something I struggled with for my children on the autism spectrum when their father left the house, and I had to explain to them what was happening and get them ready for the first time they would have to go to a brand new place they'd never been to before to spend time with their dad. I had to find help for my special needs children so they could understand what was happening to their world. I tried so hard to find therapists that could help them through the process, since I didn't really know how to explain it to them. But I ended up having to do it myself because I couldn't find, for at least one of my children who is more severe on the autism spectrum, someone who could deal with and work with their level of language and behavior and abilities to really have a productive session. So I took matters into my own hands and created a social story for my family to try to explain what was happening. In the past, I had created social stories for my children to help prepare them for new experiences and events, especially for family vacations. That way they can understand what was going to be happening and they'd be prepared for what was going to be coming up in their schedule. As a lot of you may know, dealing with change is hard for kids on the autism spectrum, and so I tried as much as I could to try to prepare them by letting them see visually and through stories as to what they were going to be encountering. If you're not familiar with social stories, they're simple narratives to try to explain a situation or experience to those with autism or other special needs so that they're an easy to understand language to help them cope with a new situation. Social stories were developed in the early 90s by Dr. Carol Gray, and a lot of times they use simple pictures like PECS, or a picture exchange communication system, but I use pictures that I find on the internet or photos that we take of ourselves and of other things and include those in my story and explain it in such a way that it's appealing to them. I'm Mary Ann Hughes, and after my divorce involving 2 special needs children, I made it my mission to help other families going through similar challenges. So I'd like to share with you today the social story I put together to prepare my kids for the first time they were going to spend the night at their father's new place. I tried to keep the social story and the whole experience as positive as I could, and so I tried to include as many details and pictures of their new situation to help them be as comfortable as possible going into a new environment to spend time with their other parent. And hopefully the other parent can be cooperative and send you information and photos about where they'll be and what the new place will be like. Otherwise, you'll have to be a little more creative as to how you're going to incorporate details in your story. And everyone's social story will be a little bit different, but I'm going to share with you mine, what I did for my family. And you'll notice that I did, to protect identities and locations, I did block out some of the pictures, but I will share with you what I can, and hopefully it'll be of help to you. So I titled it, What is Happening to My Family? A Social Story for Alexander and Tommy. And those are my kids' names, and they're okay with me doing that. And I put the date that the event occurred. Our family has always been Daddy, Mommy, Alexander, and Tommy, all loving each other and living together. But in 2019, things in our family changed. Daddy decided he didn't want to live at our address anymore. So Alexander and Tommy have been living with Mommy at address, and Daddy has been living somewhere else. But now Daddy has moved to a bigger place and is ready for Alexander and Tommy to spend time with him at his new apartment. Daddy's excited for Alexander and Tommy to visit his new place. Sometimes Alexander and Tommy will sleep there. Daddy now lives at new location. The address is, and it's not far from our home, so it'll be fun to go there. I was going to read my whole story, but I think it would be better is if I just give you some highlights as to what to include in your story. So definitely I would talk about how both parents love the kids and we're going through a new change in our lives, but we're here for the kids to help them in any way we can. So it helps to explain that they'll be spending time with the other parent, whatever your schedule might be, whether it's every other week or whatever arrangement you all come to, and show pictures if you can, and the address and location of where the child will be going and what they can expect when they get there, such as what it looks like from the outside, the residence, whether it's a home or apartment or other situation, what their room might look like, what they can bring from their house, and what may stay at the new place or be there when they get there. They'll be interested in where they're going to eat and sit around and play, and that if they're going to be going to the same school, they'll want to know that, and the arrangements for pickup from one house to another, and the duration and how long that will be. Even though mom and dad won't be living together and will be divorced soon, mom and dad both love Alexander and Tommy very much. Being divorced means that mom and dad will not be married anymore, but they still love their children, and we can all be nice to each other. Here's how I end it. Mom and dad both love Alexander and Tommy very much, and we want to do all we can to make sure they're happy. And the most important thing in the story is to make sure that the kids feel loved and safe and have an idea of what will be happening in their day-to-day world. I hope the information I shared has been helpful as you think of ways that you can try to put together a social story for your family to prepare your children for the changes coming up in their lives and where they'll be staying and how that will work. So once again, I am happy to help out in way I can. Please reach out to me at www.specialfamilytransitions.com if you would like assistance in creating a story for your family or any other assistance in your special needs divorce. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.